Hey there. Okay, just want to go through the syllabus real quickly. This is an optional video. Feel free to read through it. I'll try to clarify a few things that might come up here. So this is an online class completely, which means there's not really any office hours. I will be in Harrisonburg most of the summer, so if you are one of the Harrisonburg students, feel free to contact me. We might be able to meet in person. But this email address is really the best way to get a hold of me. We can certainly have virtual office hours, though, which you may or may not be familiar with. If you're at a point in the course where you feel you would benefit from some face to face, even if it was virtually, let me know and I'll talk you through some of the options that we could do with that. So, keep a real quick course description here. Essentially, I want to give you an introduction to statistics, some of the basic procedures. We're not going to get real in depth into some of the mechanics behind a lot of the tests, but I do want you to get a sense of what some of the issues are in statistics. When you look at information, how can you evaluate it? How can you critique it? Where do you actually see statistics around you? How can you make it more visible for whatever field you're in? I want it to be very applicable to you in whatever context that you're in. Google Sheets is going to be our go-to way to do any of the calculations. I want you to get familiar with that. If for some reason you strongly prefer Excel or another program, you can use that. I'll work with you, and certainly Excel you can import into Sheets. So I don't think it should make a big difference. Sheets does have a few features that we may use, but when we use those, I'll make sure that I mention how to do that. So this is the grading, 500 points total. At any point, you should be able to see how many total points we've had in the course. You should be able to calculate your own grade, although you're more than welcome to write me to confirm what it is. But the total number of points that you've scored so far over the total amount of points. And let me go through some of these. I know grading can be a big issue of concern. So the weekly focus tasks, these are going to be the actual mathematics or the statistics processes that you're doing. But I want this to be somewhat relaxed. You're not going to have to perform this under pressure for these 120 points. These are just 10 points each week, doing some set of tasks that then you'll submit to me. If there's a specific part of the task that you can't figure out, please, by all means, look it up online, talk to other people. I want you to be able to track down information yourself. That's one of my main goals for you in this course. Certainly, there are times when you'll need to check with me or run something by me or something doesn't quite make sense, and I'm more than happy to help you. But I do want you to become an independent learner. It's an important part, I think, of online program and of life in general. Okay, the discussions and blog. Two really separate parts, actually. The journal, you'll have a set of prompts, typically, and that you'll keep going through a Google document that I share between you and me, but the class will also be able to comment and see what you post. So it's not a really private journal in that sense. Outside of the class, people wouldn't be able to access it. And then there's going to be these discussion forums. So there's more specific criteria for how your grade is determined when we actually get into some of these posts. It'll be listed on the post. But essentially what's going to happen is most of the time it's going to be graded on completion, whether or not you have the minimum amount of words and it seems like you're making a reasonably sincere effort. But there will be a few where I do grade your posts on quality, and this will be more the forum posts and responses to other students. On those weeks, this will be graded out of 20 points. Now, I want you to treat every week like it's a 20-point week, so I won't necessarily tell you which week is which, but certainly there's going to be these spot checks that I have throughout the course to hopefully assess whether you're really engaging with the material and with the other students. There's going to be a short quiz. Don't panic too much. You will have 2 attempts at each quiz, so you can do that strategically however you want to take the first quiz, and maybe when you're halfway through the material or when you've covered most of it, then review what you think you missed, go back. It's not always going to be a matter of tracking down a specific answer like those middle school history assignments or anything. Sometimes you'll need to understand a concept and actually apply it, which is one of the reasons that I do give 2 tries on this for these quizzes. The final project, so this is going to be something you choose of interest to you, and it'll be due towards the end. You are going to make a presentation of that, and because it's online, we'll discuss later how we actually do that. Final exam, you'll notice, is 50 points out of 500, so it's only 10% of your grade. It's enough to make a difference and to check in that you are getting the basic concepts, but I don't want this to be a major stress, and I also don't want to encourage cheating, because that creates imbalance between the people who get the grade they deserve and the people who get a grade they don't deserve. One of the ways to combat that in an online class is to de-emphasize testing and instead emphasize engagement and spread out miniature assessments instead of one major assessment. And this one you will take at a computer of your choosing, so it could be at your house or a library, something like that. More info on that later. So due dates, the course is set up into weekly blocks. The Moodle will include everything that you need to do, and everything on that Moodle will be due by Sunday midnight. I would highly advise you don't wait till Sunday evening, because there will be technical issues. There's a document, Recipes for Success, you'll go through later that'll go over that more in detail. But because there will be those kind of issues and you'll have personal issues, try to manage it so that you're completing things throughout the week, not waiting until the weekend. So these are some of the criteria. I'll let you read through these on your own, but tech support, typically you're going to contact the EMU help desk instead of me when you run into technical issues like this, although I would like to stay informed. So I mentioned this down here to contact the help desk, but CC me. Asynchronous class, meaning there are no specific times you need to meet other than the final, which is on, I believe, August 3rd. Let me get that now that I've mentioned it. Yes, August 3rd. But even then, we're not meeting as a class. There may be a few times where I offer some synchronous meetings, but those will be optional. So the entire class is not necessarily meeting at a specific time like a normal class would, face-to-face would. So the Moodle is your central location that you should be checking in with every week. It will list out every single thing that you need to do. One of the things it will link you to quite a bit is our textbook, the online stat book. I will say this, when I've taught online classes in the past, students, and they give feedback at the end, some students feel that they would have benefited from a hard copy textbook, and I can absolutely relate. I'm the same way. I need to have something physical in my hands. So there are different ways you can get this online stat book printed out. You can print it out yourself because it's a PDF, and you can print out the portions that we need. We won't go through all of it, probably not even in half of it, but it's a specific half, so you should check the schedule to see what parts we're covering. But certainly I would encourage you to print that out. You can also view it on iPad, iPhone. There's many ways to access this book, as long as you have access that works for you, I'm happy. Certainly being honest. So with an online course, it's a lot easier to cheat in some ways, and had to deal with cases like that in the past. Cutting and pasting from other sources is not a good idea. It's very easy to track that down, and then that puts us in an uncomfortable situation that I don't want to be in. Also, with the quizzes, using other people to do the work, it's it's not always easy to catch, but when I do catch it, it puts us in a very awkward position. And more importantly, keeping in mind that the purpose of your education here, you're building this knowledge that's hopefully going to help you in your career or in whatever it is that you're striving to do. So robbing yourself of that through any kind of dishonesty would go against the idea of the course and against Christian beliefs. So anyway, don't do that. I will give you, by the fourth week of the semester, the first and second year students, I'll give you an update on what your grade is. And if you have any kind of disability, please let me know right away at the beginning. Don't wait until the end, near the final or near the final project. Do get that taken care of early so that we can work together to make sure that your experience is as positive as possible. And here we have a weekly list of the topics that we're covering. I'm excited. I think a lot of these are very fun. But the Moodle will be the place to go to. So make sure that you're checking your email and checking your Moodle fairly frequently. Email every day, Moodle. That weekly assignment list is the central portion of the course. Okay? Well, that was the syllabus. I hope we have a great semester.